Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Cruising your way next, Off 90. We knit up a yarn for you from Oronoco, ultra-realistic photographs from Rochester. We fetch a story from Blooming Prairie, and music from the Great White North. It's all coming up on your next stop, Off 90. Hi, I'm Barbara Keith. Thanks for joining me on this trip, Off 90. Our first story will have you in stitches. The Zumbro River Fiber Arts Guild is a group of fiber enthusiasts from southeastern Minnesota who meet in Oronoco to knit, crochet, weave, and spin. They get together once a month to talk about and to play with fiber.
The Zumbro River Fiber Arts Guild is a group of people who are passionate about the fiber arts. I am Ann Black-Sinak. I am the immediate past president of the Zumbro River Fiber Arts Guild. Historically, the word guild has been a group of people who do a particular kind of trade or craft. The Fiber Arts Guild has been around for a long time, I think because the love of fiber never goes away.
It's a great group of people. My name is Elizabeth Remford. I am a member of the Zumbro River Fiber Arts Guild. I have been a member ever since there's been a guild in southeastern Minnesota. Three of us had a spinning group that we'd get together and spin and talk fiber, and Marge was really pushing for a weaving guild in southeastern Minnesota. So I was, yeah, let's do this.
The Guild has been really growing by leaps and bounds, and everybody is spreading the word with the show and tell at the meetings. Even if it's not your field of interest, everybody is so enthusiastic about what they've made that they can tell you about that you just go home inspired.
Fiber artists come in many varieties. Sometimes I think you can separate them by fiber. People who love wool or animal kinds of things like llama or alpaca. They may spin, they may weave, they may knit, you can do crocheting. People work with roving, which is like raw fiber, and you can use that in felting. Felting has been very popular globally recently. We have people who work with harder fibers, shall we say, more tightly spun fibers, and weavers again, crocheting, knitting, tatting, embroidery. There's a person here today who's working on hardanger. Hardanger is, I believe, Scandinavian in origin, and it's very particular. You take a stitch that goes over so many threads. It would be like a counted stitch embroidery, but the aim is to create small, generally rectangular holes in the fabric in a pattern. It's beautiful, and it takes a lot of time, and it's non-trivial to pursue as an art, yeah. Every kind of fiber art that you can think of, I think, has been done by someone in this group at one time or another.
Well, I'm kind of jack of all trades, but the spinning and weaving is what I mainly do. Anything with wool I will try to do. And I'm retiring from raising sheep. When they die of old age, we'll be retired, but I still have 32 sheep left. And there's special breeds of Shetland, Icelandic, Gotland, and Scandinavian breeds of sheep for special kinds of wool, and the colors of the wool is why I got it. Yeah, I've met a lot of interesting people through the years, and I've taught a lot of classes and shared what I've learned with people, and it's been a lot of fun that way.
I'm weaving shawls at the moment. I've just got off a string of rag rugs, just because I like the color. It's all about color. And if you set up a shawl the way I do it, you set up your colors, you set up your gradations, and you just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just see what happens with how the interplay of the different yarns and the different colors works out. Weaving gives you a chance to combine colors in an entirely different way from any other kind of art media, and you end up with something you can use. Even the placemats that didn't turn out well still function as placemats, where a painting that turned out really badly goes in the trash. So, there's kind of this utilitarian side to it, as well as the artistic side.
We have a dye pot every August where we get together out at, there's a church off of Highway 60 north of Zumbrota, and we meet in their pavilion. We have a potluck and we have a dye pot and get messy. We have a great time, and we learn something new.
And there's bowls.
Daryl Waters, it took up weaving, and he took it up with a passion that is incredible. He's made curtains. He has recently gotten into silk fusion and took a sewing class. He took that so that he could make journals. So he's learned to do bookbinding. This is a cascading kind of activity. It's not something generally where you do one thing and it's the only thing you do. One thing leads to another. Our biggest ongoing project, is a chemo cap project we've been doing for a long time. We've made, I think, over 5,000 chemo caps. We give people yarn to make the caps with so that they're soft enough for heads that don't have hair, because your skin is very sensitive. And our members are constantly providing new chemo caps.
I can look back 50 years now, and sooner or later another batch of younger people are going to say, hey, that was really pretty cool.
The Fiber Arts Guild has the potential to, there's no end in sight as far as I can see. Right now I think it's in a growth phase. I hope it goes on forever.
Rochester photographer Gary Koenig scours the city, taking pictures of people in society's shadows, the city's homeless. Gary's purpose is to bring them out into the light. He wants people to imagine the personal stories of his subjects from looking at their grizzled, lined faces, but also to see their humanity.
These people are not objects. They're subjects, and subjects are human beings that need respect. I do photography. I was doing straight stuff, landscapes, people, and it got boring. So this project of the homeless started 10 years ago in Las Vegas. Between people pouring drinks on these poor people sitting on the sidewalk, or spitting on them, or, get a job, you creep, I decided to photograph one of them right in the face, very close up, because of all the wrinkles and storylines he had. And I found what I thought was a good population out there, because I didn't think there's any homeless in Rochester, but I was wrong. There were homeless people every place, so I didn't have to go any place. So out of those 700 people I photographed, maybe 400 are from here, which is surprising to me. And I've re-photographed a couple because they were interesting. wanted to show just their faces. I didn't want to show any of the background, because we have to do this on the street, because you can't do it in a private property, because there's copyright laws. So if I'm driving around, or I go to Salvation Army at lunchtime when they're all there, not all of them, but eating, and I've had quite a few subjects from there. Take them on the street, talk to them, and the first thing they'll say, "You're not a cop, are you?" And I say, "No, I'm not. What are you going to do with these?" And I finally had to give an answer that I want to put these up as an exhibition so people can come and see who's out there and not be afraid of them. I am on my computer probably most of the day, and I've looked at these people's faces over and over and over again, and I never get sick of it. And when I find a portrait that has some compassion in their eyes, or sadness, or something that tells me they need something, that fascinates me. And I tell them, I don't want you smiling. You don't need to smile. This isn't a class picture. I just want you, the real you. And would you mind taking off your glasses? Would you mind taking off your hat? Would you mind doing this? And for the most part, I've never been accosted or assaulted ever with these people, which I find amazing. But I didn't know that was going to be the case. There's hardly anybody that's turned me down and said, "No, I don't want that done at all," which is really odd, I find. I keep wanting to do this. I think it's like a fisher person that, once you're hooked, pardon the pun, you gotta go fishing. You can't. I wanna find more people, because I know there's more people out there that tell a story with their faces. I don't need words. So I'm gonna keep doing this.
Old Oak Retrievers out of Blooming Prairie provides training for hunting dogs. Rick McConico has been the head trainer at Old Oak Retrievers for more than 25 years. Rick has been a serious hunter all of his life, and he understands the unique training needs of his canine students.
I happen to have a mother who could never say no to anybody who was getting rid of a dog or couldn't keep their dog, or had a puppy that they couldn't get rid of. So I had up to 6, 7 dogs at a time when I was a kid, and that's kind of what got me interested in this. My name is Rick McConico from Old Oak Kennels. Our kennel is a varied kennel. We do boarding, training, and some breeding of British Labs and Golden Retrievers. We have a boarding training facility, and we actually have one of the nicest state-of-the-art kennels in southern Minnesota. We have several different aspects of our property where we have the short grass areas, the long grass areas, the multiple ponds. We have cover changes, and it's just everything that you need to develop a good retriever. We breed British Labs, which again are a calmer, gentler dog. And the British dogs are bred more for their nose, for the ability to finding down game. We also breed Golden Retrievers, and the Golden Retrievers are very, very good companion dogs again, hunt well. And as a rule, the Golden Retriever will have a little better nose for finding game than a Labrador. We do not have picks. Most kennels you go to, if you have your money down first, you get first pick, second pick, third pick. Well, a lot of times people will pick a puppy by the way it looks or by the way it acted when they saw it for that 15, 20 minutes. Well, that's not a true representation of the puppy. So we don't give picks. We help the individuals pick the puppy that's right for them. So we get the right personality matched with the right family. We train for almost anything. We train hunting dogs, hunting competition dogs. We train for just obedience. We've trained a few dogs to be service companion dogs. We show them how to sit. We show them where the heel position is, whether we're walking or sitting. We show them how to come on the recall command, you know, and we show it over and over and over and over again, so it's clear in the dog's mind that command means this action. So we have trainers from all over the country who come here and want to train on this property. The hunt test is a test where we're testing the hunting ability of the dog. It's a test that's recognized by the AKC. All dogs that are recognized by the AKC are registered through them, which means that they've kept track of the bloodlines of that animal, and that more legitimate breeders all have their puppies registered through the AKC. And they've set standards for what the dog should know how to do. So there is a junior level, a senior level, and a master level. And every level has more aspects of the test that is demanded of the dog. And so in these tests, you're not running your dog against another dog. You're running your dog against a standard. And if your dog meets the standard, they feel that the dog would be a legitimate hunting dog. So when the judges are judging, they're supposed to be evaluating the hunting ability of the dog, you know, more so than trying to evaluate one dog against another. Well, the hunt test can be a very fun thing. You'll see a lot of different personalities, a lot of different dogs, a lot of different levels of trainer. It's a good camaraderie, you know, is one of the reasons many people do this.
Yves Lambert has been described as a beacon in the traditional aesthetics of cultural heritage. The Yves Lambert Trio came as a breath of fresh air and happiness on the Quebec music scene. We were lucky enough to catch a performance of the trio at the historic Paramount Theatre in Austin.
Ma mignonne, si j'avais les beaux souliers que ma mignonne m'a donné. Si j'avais les beaux souliers que ma mignonne, si j'avais les beaux souliers que ma mignonne m'a donné. Mes souliers serrés, mes lèvres dorés, mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne. Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours. Si j'avais le beau capot que ma mignonne, mignonne, si j'avais le beau chapeau que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Si j'avais le beau chapeau que ma mignonne, si j'avais le beau chapeau que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Le capot du pègre beau, mes souliers cirés à belle doré, mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne,
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours.
si j'avais le beau collet que ma mignonne, si j'avais le beau collet que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Si j'avais le beau collet que ma mignonne, si j'avais le beau collet que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Le collet du peu forêt, le chapeau du pègre beau, mes souliers cirés à belle doré, mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne,
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours.
j'avais le beau collet que ma mignonne, si j'avais la belle chemise que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Si j'avais la belle chemise que ma mignonne, si j'avais la belle chemise que ma mignonne m'a donné.
La chemise du belle prise, le collet du peu forêt, le chapeau du pègre beau, mes souliers cirés à belle doré, mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne,
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours. Si j'avais les belles bretelles que ma mignonne, si j'avais les belles bretelles que ma mignonne m'a donné, si j'avais les belles bretelles
que ma mignonne, si j'avais des belles bretelles que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Les bretelles du pétinel, la chemise du pain, la frise, le collet du pain forêt, le chapeau du pain crépon, mes souliers cirés à belle dorée.
ma mignonne,
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne,
mes amours.
Si j'avais les belles culottes que ma mignonne, si j'avais les belles culottes que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Si j'avais les belles culottes que ma mignonne, si j'avais les belles culottes que ma mignonne m'a donné.
Les culottes du pain capote, les bretelles du pétinel, la commis du pain la prise, le collet du pain forêt, le capot du pain grippeau, mes souliers serrés à belle yédo. Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne,
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours. Si j'avais les beaux chaussons comme ma mignonne, si j'avais les beaux chaussons comme ma mignonne m'a donné.
Les cossons du pelouzon, les culottes du pain capote, les bretelles du pétinel, la commis du pain la prise, le collet du pain forêt, le capot du pain grippeau, mes souliers serrés à belle yédo. Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne.
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours. Si j'avais les beaux culottes, ma mignonne, si j'avais la belle calotte, ma mignonne m'a donné.
Les canettes du pain vont fat, les cossons du pelouzon, les culottes du pain capote, les bretelles du pétinel, la commis du pain la prise, le collet du pain forêt, le capot du pain grippeau, mes souliers serrés à belle yédo. Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne.
Mes souliers sont rouges, ma mignonne, mes amours.
We're near the end of this tour off 90. Thanks for riding along. See you next time. But before we go, here's a piece of nostalgia from Owatonna.
I'm Dan Mockley. I'm the Archives, Exhibits, and Technology Manager at the Steele County Historical Society in Owatonna. One of our exhibits at the Steele County History Center is Toys and Play 1970s to today. Many of the toys, most of the toys, are from our volunteers here, and it was really fun to learn which volunteers were closet toy collectors, people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who are collecting toys all the way up to today's modern toys. I mean, we get grandparents in, we get parents in, and children. This exhibit really is intergenerational, and so our visitors are the full gamut from 4 to 94. I grew up in this era. My family grew up in this era. We lived with these toys, we saw them, and it is history all the way up to today.
Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.